welcome back. My name is Benissa Shabatontu and this is my final lab, um, Linux deployment on AWS. Alright, so without further ado, let's get started. So the first thing we've been asked to demonstrate is the firewall, which means that what kind of services our Linux server will be providing. Okay, so let's get started. So the first thing you can see here by yourself, Samba daemon, which means that daemon is actually a process. Okay, a process that is running in the background. That's what a daemon is. All right, so you can see here, Samba is actually a file sharing service. All right, so which means that my Ubuntu server will be providing file sharing service, just like in my written proposal. All right, so you can see by yourself this is active and enabled. All right, so let's go to the next one. The next one was actually database. My Linux server will be providing database services, okay, storing data and accessing data and so on. And you can see Postgre service, which is a database service. All right, we'll be using in order to fulfill that purpose. All right, so you can see by yourself. This is active actually and enabled. All right. Okay, this is actually great. And you can see the CPU and the min pick and everything. Okay. And here, the last thing was actually web services because in my written proposal, I've said that my Linux server will be providing three main services. The first one is um, file sharing services. The second one is database services, and the last one is web services. All right, you can see Apache. Apache is actually the HTTP, which means a web server. All right, and it will be providing web services to client in the promised land in the company. All right. Okay, so let's get for the next one. So the next thing we've been asked to do is to demonstrate yeah, group files. Okay, group files. As you can see by yourself, I've successfully managed to create directories just like in my written proposal. Each department has its own directory. All right, so you can see here application, CRM, infrastructure, operation. This is for managers, and this is a shared repository. This is a shared directory. Instead of creating a big directory, every department, just like in my written proposal, will have their own directory, and for shared project, they're gonna use this um, directory, which is for shared project. All right. So, and you can see here, okay, the structure is that the person who's in charge of infrastructure is actually the owner of the directory, and the infrastructure group is the group that is in charge of the infrastructure directory, just like in my written proposal. Nothing has changed. All right, and you can see here by yourself the S, which means set group bit. All right, so this is actually yeah, which means that um, infrastructure as you know, ownership over this, the group infrastructure has ownership over this directory, which is infrastructure. All right, this is S for set group bit. Okay, so you can see here the same thing with operations. Operations, the person who's in charge of operation is the owner, which means he has full control over the operations um, directory, and the group who's in charge, all right, is the operation group, and also have set bit group and for operation. So it goes along with the CRM, the same thing with application, the same thing with application you can see here with CRM also. So you can see that this actually follows the structure that I've given in my written proposal. The person who's in charge, just within the scope, they're not going outside of the scope. All right. So they're in charge of the CRM, and they have full control only over the department, the director of the department, okay, not of the entire not of all directories, but just within the scope. All right, and the CRM is actually the group that is the group owner of the directory. Okay, so with I think that that's okay. And the next one you can see here, the next thing we've been asked to do is actually to um, actually to demonstrate the firewalls. All right, so you can see the firewalls status. So you can see here that the status is actually active, which means that I've successfully configured my firewalls. Okay, you can see here open SSH. All right, and you can see these are firewalls that I've installed in order to filter and to filter traffic. All right, and you can see I've installed um, traffic. This is going to filter traffic by using the port 80, which is the web service port. All right, so this is for HTTPS. All right, port 443. All right, so you can see by yourself. So these are firewalls which will help prevent which will help filter traffic that will come in and go out of the web server. All right, thank you very much. So the next thing we've been asked to do is storage allocation and mounting to file system. So you can see here by yourself, just like in my written proposal. All right, here this is actually so this is these are disks. I've used the power of Elastic Block Store in AWS, and I've attached new volumes to the server in order for the server to be able to perform and to support the Promised Land infrastructure in its day-to-day operations. So you can see here the home, and you can see 100. All right, and you can see here, okay, just like in my written proposal, and you can see the swap files, and you can see the mount point here, here. All right, and you can see the root actually for 40 gigabyte, and you can see the mount point, which is home, and here SVR, and you can see the var, and you can see the swipe. Okay, so this is in order to accommodate growth, because we are designing things with a growth mindset. All right, we are playing with scalability. All right, because we think that in the future, if the promised land is gonna maybe is gonna extend its operations, so our server need to be able to accommodate that growth. All right, so that's why we've used this infrastructure, and we've used the power of AWS Elastic Block Store in order to help the server accommodate that growth. All right, so you can see here by yourself. Okay, var. All right, and these are also MVME, which means that they're pretty fast. We can retrieve and add in data pretty quickly, because this is the new they're pretty fast. MVME, they're pretty fast. All right. Okay. So I think that's it for storage allocation and a mounting point. As you can see by yourself, just like here. These are the mounting point. Okay. So let's go for the next one. The security measures that I've taken in order to protect my server. So the first thing is to explain that in order to protect my server against intrusion, the first thing that we have, the first barrier All right, the first barrier that will safeguard my server is actually the firewalls. This is the first barrier. All right, but on top of that, I've decided to install a services which is fail ban fail to ban server, which fail to ban each service that actually will monitor and will monitor, will keep track of logs, and that will protect our system against intrusion. So that helps the firewall because sometimes uh, attackers can pass the firewall, but the fail to bind service can be that second layer of security that will prevent attackers from getting into my Linux server. So this actually provides um, provides a more layer of security. It provides I can you know monitor intrusion, logs, and protects, and also it also comes with a built-in firewall. So it means that I'm gonna have like two types of firewall, the built-in and the one provided by this service. So this is pretty awesome. It has a layer of security on top of this, on top of the one provided by the built-in firewall. All right. So the next thing, okay, the next thing I've done in order to level up to level up my security is actually um to disable uh root login using SSH. All right. So you can see here by yourself. All right. This is in order to prevent a person logging in as root, because if a person gains root access to our system, and that means he can do whatever he wants, and that's really really bad, because a person has access and they can do whatever they want. They can destroy the whole system and change and modify things, and we don't want that. So in order to protect and prevent that, um, those situations from happening, I've disabled, you can see by yourself, permit root login, no. All right, so you can see this is SSH config, SSH config. All right, so this is a file, and I've set it to no in order to prevent um, SS root login using SSH. All right, um, this helps protect the system. So just to remind you, so this is actually three layer of security, three measures that I've taken. The first one is firewalls, built-in firewalls. All right, that will serve as the first layer of security. The second one is the fail to ban service, which comes in with also a second layer of security. It protects against intrusion and it monitors traffic on the server. It keeps in logs, and it also provides another layer of firewalls built in that comes in with this service. Oh, well, okay, that give us another layer of security. So this will serve as the second layer of security, and the last one will be I've disabled the root login using SSH in order to prevent a person logging in as the root, in order to prevent those crazy situations from happening. All right, so let's go to the next one. The next one is also the is also I've also enabled security audit. All right, because we need to check everything happening on the system. So I've decided also to enable audits, audit login services in order for it the to track what has been happening on the system. Because if we don't know what happened yesterday, if something bad happens, something bad happened, how can we be able to trace and know the person who did it? So we need to install an audit logging service in order to track everything that will be happening on the system. All right, so on top of this, we have the system security audit that will help us track everything happening on the system. All right. So you can see by yourself, this is actually running and this is enabled. All right. So this will help us track everything that is happening on the system. Okay. Uh, I think that's it for the security measures. All right. That's it for the security measures. And the next thing is cron jobs. All right. So you can see here cron jobs. All right. So you can see by yourself the active and here underneath. Yeah. Okay. Okay. You can see that there is a 2, which means that this is going to this service is going to reset itself every 2 years, all right, just like in the instructions, all right. Build also just like in my written proposal. So you can see here, okay, there is a 2 here, which means that this service will be uh you know will restart itself every 2 years, and you can see that is active, that is running, and you can see it is enabled. Okay, is enabled. All right. And the next thing we've been asked to do is to check is if our system is up to date. Okay. So you can see that our system is up to date. All packages are up to date. All packages are up to date. And yeah, all packages are up to date. And everything is clear. And we also have a mode message. All right. Let me just do it quickly. Okay, you can see here, this is here actually. So this is the message of the day, or you can see by yourself, just here. All right, and you can see here by yourself, authorized access. This system is monitored and authorized is provided. Okay, this is actually the message of the day. Also, you can see that everything is perfectly set and everything is perfectly arranged in order to support the promised land in its day-to-day operations. So to finish up, I would just say uh, actually this server actually actually fit the needs of the promised land, because and I think it will help the promised land in its day-to-day operation. Why am I saying that? Because the first thing, the server will be providing three type of services. We have a database services, database in order to store data, in order to store data, uh, clients data from clients and customers. All right, and that's very essential for a booking and travel agency. We need to have a database and a pretty fast database that that can support the vision of promised land. And the second thing is we need a website and a fast a website that can accommodate the traffic and the vision of the company, which is fast, reliable, and secure. And I think that Apache, which is a services installed on this server, will fulfill that purpose. And also a file sharing, which will help the company keep his file into a safe and secure place. So this design is actually I think the best fit for the company, because it provide it provide it provides, and it meets all the industry requirement needed in order to support the company in this day-to-day operation. So thank you for watching, and See you next time.